Well, Attorney General Jeff Sessions was on Capitol Hill today testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. In his opening statement, Mr. Sessions once again invoked executive privilege. But that didn't prevent senators from asking him tough questions on a wide range of issues, most notably concerning the Russia investigation. Sessions told the committee that he has not been interviewed by special counsel Robert Mueller, but he also emphatically defended his previous testimony that he has not had any coordination with Russia during the Trump campaign.
I have never had a meeting with any Russian officials to discuss any kind of coordinating campaign efforts. Well, let me just say this without hesitation, that I conducted no improper discussions with Russians at any time regarding a campaign or any other item facing this country.
Okay, how do you know?
I want to say that first. And that's been the suggestion that you've raised and others, that it was somehow we had conversations that were improper.
May I suggest that...
No, you had a long time, Senator Franken. I'd like to respond.
Well, they're going to cut me off, and so I want to ask you some questions.
No, I don't, Mr. Chairman, I don't have to sit in here and listen to his
you're the one who testified.
Charges without having a chance to respond. Give me a break. So now you take that to say if I ever met with a Russian, I've not been candid with the committee, and I reject that.
Well, CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid is on Capitol Hill. Paula, what did you make of Sessions' testimony today, and particularly his interactions with Russian officials?
Well, that was quite a heated exchange there with Senator Al Franken, and it's such a contrast because when he entered the room today for his testimony, he embraced Senator Franken. They had a moment together because, of course, the Attorney General used to be a senator. He used to work alongside these people, and it's clear that it did not sit well with him when his integrity was called into question. But let's really dig in on the significance of that exchange with Senator Franken, because it was Senator Franken, of course, during Sessions' confirmation hearing, who was the one to ask him about Russia and about any contacts or involvement with that ongoing inquiry. And it was then that Sessions failed to disclose the fact that he had, in fact, had meetings with Russian Ambassador Kislyak. That was eventually disclosed by the Washington Post, and that forced Sessions to recuse himself from the Russia investigation. And here Franken was really trying to pin him down on those facts. And Sessions is adamant. He says, I did not discuss anything having to do with the campaign. I may not have remembered these meetings, but I did not do anything untoward. I did not discuss in any way inappropriate campaign-related issues. But Senator Franken kept pushing him, and it was actually somewhat out of character for the Attorney General to get that rattled.
And I was also surprised that we learned that Special Counsel Mueller has not interviewed the Attorney General. I was curious if you were surprised by that.
I wasn't terribly surprised. We have confirmed that the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, has been interviewed by special counsel. That, of course, has raised some questions about how he can be both a witness and be the one overseeing this investigation. But so far, there's been no indication. No sources have told me that Sessions had been interviewed. And he says that he has not been asked, but if he was, he would be willing to talk to them. But, Rena, oftentimes in these investigations, sometimes you work up to your most high-profile witnesses. If you remember in the Hillary Clinton email investigation, they didn't interview her until a few days before the case was concluded. You want to talk to everybody, sort of get your case built so you can form the best possible questions to get into the information you need. So it's not a huge surprise that Sessions has not yet been asked to speak to special counsel.
I didn't realize that's a strategy they sometimes employ. I want to ask whether you think that he will ultimately be interviewed.
It's possible, especially if special counsel continues to dig into this issue of obstruction of justice and if he continues to focus on the issues surrounding why former FBI Director James Comey was fired. Obviously, Attorney General Jeff Sessions is someone who could give him some insight into what the president was thinking at the time, what the president possibly said, and again, why he was asked to write that letter and to what extent the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General's recommendations really played a part in that firing, or whether the president already had some other reason in mind.
And Paul, what did Sessions have to say about FBI Director James Comey's firing?
He was somewhat candid about his participation in this. He said that the president asked both him and the Deputy Attorney General to write down a recommendation for what they think should be done about the former FBI director. And once again, Attorney General Sessions said that he believes that a significant error was made by Comey in the way that he handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Specifically, they point to that press conference that Comey had where he announced no charges would be brought. The Attorney General is correct. That is not the usual way that these cases are handled. But James Comey believed that because this was so unique, there was so much on the line, not just for Secretary Clinton, but also for the FBI, that he had to do this. And then we know he took another unprecedented step where he announced subsequently that new emails had been found in the investigation, that it could be reopened. And Sessions and Rosenstein have both now said in writing that they believe that that was improper and perhaps grounds for firing. But as some other senators asked, Rena, well, if that was the case, why did it take so many months to fire him?
I have a technical question for you, Paul. We know that Sessions once again said that he would not discuss conversations with the president. But can he do that despite the president not invoking executive privilege himself?
Yes, specifically, he invoked executive privilege when he was pressed on whether or not the president ever brought up the issue of Russia when they were talking about firing Comey. Now, that's incredibly significant. Of course, it goes right to potentially the heart of that obstruction of justice question. And there, the attorney general said that he would invoke executive privilege, that he would not discuss that. He absolutely can. I think intelligent minds, intelligence lawyers could sort of parse out whether or not this is appropriate, given how much the president has sort of waived his executive privilege around this issue. But as of right now, particularly on that issue, knowing how important it is to the special counsel, it did not surprise me that he invoked executive privilege on that specific issue.
All right, Paula Reid coming to us from Capitol Hill today. Thank you very much, Paula.